Thank you all so much for joining. We have Rose head coach Nola Henry here. We will go ahead and get started with Megan Hall.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. Happy Friday. Wanted to ask you, when I initially looked at your roster, I thought, oh my gosh, bucket. But I wanted to know, like, what were your initial thoughts when you saw your roster?
Hey Megan, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, definitely a lot of buckets on my roster, but I would say my mind immediately went to the defensive end. Just a lot of length and athleticism on our side. So I think my mind immediately went to defense and then just edge. Like those, a lot of those players that I've been able to coach just play with a certain level of edge and a certain level of passion. So I think before my mind went to buckets, it went to that like dog mentality and just that defensive identity.
Thank you. Annie?
Hey Nola, how are you? Good to see you. And my question is just about Angels specifically. I know that finishing through contact and then extending her shot profile were two things she wanted to work on this offseason. I'm curious how you've seen her attack those two things early in Unrivaled.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Annie. Nice to see you. I would say definitely just finishing, right? Finishing through contact as well as extending her range. I think she's been working on it. It's not something that's going to be fixed overnight, but I think with consistency, effort, and practice, which she's been doing every day, getting some pre-practice work, post-practice work, I think eventually, it'll all come together in due time. But just in terms of she's been able to finish well against practice guys. So yeah, I'm excited about Angel and just her growth in those two areas specifically, but just all around. So I think we'll see some of that.
And then just to follow up, the 3-on-3 game is really unique because as we heard from players and I mean any of us covering this game have seen there's just nowhere to hide. It like exposes you in all facets. So again, when it specifically comes to Angel, a young player who's early in her development, how do you see that impacting her game? Do you see that benefiting her game? I guess what's your opinion there?
Yeah, no, that's another good question. I would say, yeah, it's definitely it's going to help all the players, but especially younger players, like the Angel Reeses of the world. Just in terms of it'll be easier for them to digest. Like it's an easier with it only being three people on the court, both offensively and defensively. It's a little bit easier for players to digest without having to, understand where the help is and where the next rotation is. Right? It's pretty. I would say, in a sense, it's pretty surface level it's just a little bit easier for them to digest and understand. And I think ultimately that just helps them. Then when you add two more players on the court, are they able to see what it looks like big picture? So yeah, I think a lot of the young players, players that have been in the league for a while, they'll all benefit from just the ability to understand the game in a smaller piece. I would say.
Thanks so much.
Eric?
Coach, appreciate your time. I had a quick question I wanted to ask you specifically about Kalia. She mentioned that you and her played against each other in the Philly Jersey Classic and how you both now have come to this kind of full circle moment, if you will. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, how you doing, Eric? Good question. Yeah, man, it's been surreal. Like again, like Leah mentioned, man, yeah, we played against each other in the Philly Jersey Classic. We both won MVP at the time. So it's been crazy to now both be coaching and playing at the highest level and just trying to navigate our way and find success. And just to be able to do that together now at Unrivaled, I think it's special. I think it's extremely special and it's something that I'm extremely grateful for, that I'm excited about, right? Being able to coach her and try to help her, take her game to another level, as well as on the flip side, her being able to give me feedback and me being able to take, my coaching to another level. So I think it's a working relationship that, man, I'm very appreciative of and I'm excited about.
And then can you also speak to the leadership of Chelsea Gray? I mean, she is a two-time WNBA champion, multiple accolades on her resume. Just speaking of leadership, what she brings to the Roses.
Definitely. Chelsea is amazing, right? She's an Olympian, two-time champion, point guard. She's all of the things. But I would say, just from the standpoint of she's the coach on the floor, right? So she helps cultivate some of that understanding and teaching points that maybe I can't get to while they're going live, and she's able to just like communicate it with them at a high level in the moment, without me having to like break down a drill to explain and to teach. While I've been able to do a lot of that, she's just been an asset and a resource in that way to where everybody feels comfortable when she speaks, the whole room listens, including myself. So that's been exciting for me, and one of my favorite parts is just I'm super collaborative. So just being able to learn from her, coach her, teach her, it's a working relationship, student teacher, right? We both switch on and off. So excited about it. Chelsea's, like I said, she's amazing, and I'm grateful and honored to coach her.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Tariq.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to ask, what are you personally looking to take away from this experience, this coaching the 3-on-3 league, and the first of a major jump between with B and Stewie building this league together?
Yeah, it's Eric. How are you? Oh man, I'm trying to take everything, right? All of it, just soak it all up from player relationships to front office relationships to the X's and O's on the court. Man, there's so many opportunities to learn and grow for myself personally, that I will definitely be intentional about. So yeah, I think just as I mentioned for the players, in terms of the game getting a little bit easier to digest, same goes for me. Just being able to understand the game and break it down into smaller pieces. So then when I go back to coaching in a 5-on-5 setting, right, maybe I'm able to teach better, maybe I'm able to understand better, maybe I'm able to, just have a different perspective on things. And I think that's important just in terms of my career, but also ultimately, like, I want to help the players learn. So as long as I'm learning, I think I'll be able to be an asset to players in any league, in terms of coaching them. So excited about it, grateful for it. It's a really good opportunity.
Thank you.
Nikias.
Hi, Coach. I hope you're doing well, first and foremost. I wanted to ask about the defense. I think naturally in a 5-on-5 setting, you can hedge your blitz, you can rotate your help in a way that I would imagine is going to be a little bit more difficult to do in a 3v3 setting. I guess generally, like, how much scheme versatility can be had in a 3v3 setting?
Yeah, that's a good question. So thank you for asking that. Man, I would say just in terms of, defensively, right? There's not a ton of help. So I think first and foremost, most importantly, you got to be able to guard the ball, right? You got to be able to be really good at that point of attack. I feel like in 5-on-5, you can kind of flow to the point of attack, whereas in 3-on-3, every action is the point of attack. So every action is extremely important. So just in terms of defense, right? It makes you turn into a different level of effort, that you're willing to give because there isn't that much help that you can rely on, right? So you have to be super mindful and super intentional about how good you are at that point of attack, and can you fight to stay in plays without having to draw a second player, right? You want to try to stay with your matchup as much as possible. And so I think a lot of that comes from effort, right? And just that effort to, stay in play. But then also just the confidence to like be able to guard 1-on-1 without having to rely on help. And then ultimately you get back to 5-on-5. It's easier. But in terms of 3-on-3, man, it's exciting to watch them have to compete at every action, without relying on any help behind the ball.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Thank you. And hi, Coach. How are you? Just talking about the dimensions of the court and how exciting that is from a full court setting and in a 3v3 setting. Just how do you plan to structure your offensive schemes? Whether it's more maximizing the efficiency from an offensive standpoint and getting quicker shots, or just getting the defense to kind of bite onto your offense. Like, so what type of offensive schemes are you looking with the dimensions on the court being the way that they are?
Good question, Kevin. I would say that's a work in progress, right? You got to fill it out, and we'll see how the first few games go. But just in terms of how practice has been going and just game planning, right? You want to use in any court, you want to use the space on the court, right? You want to maximize space, right? Offense is spacing, spacing is offense. So you want to try to space the floor as best as possible. There's multiple different schemes that come with that. You can run a ton of different things. So I think that's fun, but I would say first and foremost offensively, right, just using all the spacing on the court, right, and maximizing all of that space. Then defensively, while offense is spacing, defense, you want to negate that space, right? So how can you congest? Where are the areas on the court that you can, congest best and kind of try to shrink the floor? But yeah, it'll take a couple games, I'm sure, just to feel that out for the players, for myself. All of this is new for everybody. So I think that it's a work in progress, but I think it will be good. I think you'll see a lot of fun things offensively and defensively in terms of scheming when it comes to the spacing that you do have on the court, right? Transition quick, you get off the court quick. Defensively, right? You got to guard. What does your length look like? How are you able to, just do different things, both offensively and defensively. But yeah, I would say it's exciting to try to scheme with the new spacing, and it has been an adjustment thus far.
And just to follow up on that one, you have kind of like one of the most versatile rosters for this entire league. So how exciting has that been coaching this type of roster? And I know you explained how Chelsea has been such a great coach on the floor for you.
This has to go tomorrow.
Is it also have Slim, Kai, Azure, Lexi?
No, I mean it says like
also,
delayed.
Angel Reese there.
Like delayed the trip. Everything is
right. You have a lot of defensive-minded guards in the ones that you just mentioned, site specifically, right? So the same thing, whereas offensively, Chelsea's able to communicate with them and coach them through things. So the same thing is true for Slim and Lexi Hall, right? Really good defenders. So yeah, it's been fun having that type of versatility because you can do a ton of different things. You can switch your coverages up. You can play around. You can get really creative essentially. Defensively, having the personnel that I have. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to scheme with them and just try different coverages, right? We'll mix things up. We'll try things. We'll try not to be super predictable. So yeah, we've been working on a number of different coverages and just schemes and just different, ways that we want to guard people defensively. So it's been great having high level defenders like Slim, like Azure, who can, go protect the rim. Angel Reese, who can switch and guard some smaller guards in space and just, like challenging them to defend different positions. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing so far.
Thank you, Coach.
Definitely appreciate that.
We'll get one more from the Price.
Actually, just bouncing off the other question in relation to Chelsea Gray, how much fun are you going to have tapping into versus what you have? Is someone talking about the passer, but someone that is willing to post up, the X is so small, they can hurt defending players. And how fun is it going to be to kind of unlock that kind of versatility in the defense?
Yeah, it's going to be extremely fun just in terms of Chelsea specifically. She can do multiple things, right? And it's always fun. The entire roster can do multiple things. But it's always fun as a coach when you're able to scheme with versatile players, right? So that part has been extremely fun for me to just be able to be creative, put them in sets, but then let them go be the artists essentially and do whatever they want in terms of, where they're scoring. If we're putting Chelsea in the post, like is she facing up? Is she backing down a smaller guard? Same thing with Khalid, Slim, Angel, all of those players, right? They can do multiple things as a right, can play inside and out. So it's been really fun just as a coach to kind of like scheme and just be able to be creative and then let them do the hard work.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.